Benevolent leadership from the stars have come to Earth to work with us to create a magical school. As a group of light workers, we have come together and are creating a consortium to serve the highest good of the collective in sharing hope, possibility, and freedom, while providing a refuge from the chaos of the great change. Hello, and welcome again to the School of Light podcast. I am your host, Deborah Leanne, and I am so excited as I'm having coffee here this morning and to introduce to you Teri Sertic. Teri, welcome.
Thank you, Deborah.
It's been a while that we have known each other, and yet it's been a long time that we've reconnected. And I wish I was recording earlier when we were having these conversations about what we've been up to, because you were just lit up. Literally, I wish people could see your light this morning.
Well, thank you. It's easy to light up around you.
Thanks. I do like to imagine that I can magnify others' lights. I think that's part of what my gifts are. So I would like to start by giving our listeners an opportunity to learn a little bit about you and your life's work and your how your light shines in the world right now.
Well, thank you. I have for sure always been on the path of compassion and empathy towards others, an observer of life, but also experiencing my own things so that I can hold more compassion for others who are working through things, and been on my own personal healing journey for way too long. Always seeking something that felt like a yes in my body, and I don't think I really felt that until my 30s. And then I met a woman that was a shaman, and we sat together on these bleachers watching our kids do a math pentathlon for 8 hours, and just felt really connected. And she really downplayed who she was, and through some more connection, she let me know that she was a shaman, and she felt very strongly that I was a shaman. And I did soul retrieval with her and her mentor. And most people don't get a soul retrieval by two shaman. And this woman did not know me. She didn't, she wasn't told anything about me so that it could be more pure. And she also, out of the soul retrieval, came out and said, "Welcome, shaman. It's time to wake up." And that felt 1,000,000% resonant with me. So I did take some intuitive shamanic courses for 3 years with this woman that I met. And so I'd always been in a place of wanting to help people. And I did I was in the Air Force, and just for many reasons, I had to get out after the 4 years. So I was drawn to massage therapy for the purpose of helping others, not giving them, the fluffy treatment. But I learned through the massage work that I started picking up things.
Oh.
I would feel things in their body, and I would get these images in my head. And I would ask them, like one woman, I felt this like slap across my face. And I said, "Were you slapped?" And she said, "My sister slapped me when I was 5. And so these things kept happening. And that was before meeting this woman and doing this work. And it was really cool because, I was getting these soul retrievals and learning all these things. But I, of course, learned that I, on some level, already knew how to do all of this. And then I'd heard with time, do not follow any more teachers. And
yeah,
you are your own, and something unique is coming through you. And I realized that through just my very beingness and how I talk to others and how my eyes light up when I'm with everyone. And I'm very just eye contact, presence, very excited about what's going on with them. I don't sing too far in their sad stories, but I hold it. And then, just the whole human process is, uncomfortable, and I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And so all my work day to day is, to me, soul retrieval. It's reconnecting people back in with, like, I see you. I understand why you've made all your choices. You don't have to be anything else with me, but if you want to, let's start clearing things out. And then a little bit through my, just barely into the shamanic studies, I was led to teach dance, and I didn't grow up dancing or feel like being a teacher. It just kind of like happened. And I remember in this moment, I had a group of women come over to learn this dance, and I had this like really divine moment of, oh my gosh, I'm a teacher, because I was so comfortable with it. Like, I had no problem teaching these women, and it was tapping into their sensuality, but with fun and just like everyday normal. Like, this can be a part of your life. And I saw something change in these women. It was like giving permission to be a woman. But there's women who do the avenue of like really deep sensuality, and, like every woman is needed that's teaching what they're teaching. Absolutely. But mine was more like, this is who you are. You're going to own it. You're going to have a little fun with it. It's almost like you got a little secret. Here's how to be out in the world, more embodied.
And that is so,
happens.
Yes. And especially the spiritual or intellectual women that I work with, I know they are not tapped into their bodies. And that is such a beautiful way. And playfulness, that is like talk about a pandemic. We are so serious. We don't know how to, as we become adults, still tap into that childlike play. My mom used to always tell me when I was moving around too much, she'd say, stop dancing around. And that came back to me in my 40s and 50s with, whoa, no wonder I stopped, I would love to be a part of your dancing and your dance classes. So then you've continued to grow into a couple of other areas. And we met in magic school. And if you were to describe a color or a texture or a flavor to the light that you are shining in the world, how would you describe it?
Oh, gosh. Honestly, the vision that's always come to me in that respect, because I'm not a super visual person, but like a prism. So it's like the more I take care of myself and feel good and work hard at feeling good, the more that shines out. Like it's a sensation, it's a feeling. Like I've been told numerous times, they're like, I just feel better next to you, and I don't know why.
Yeah, you're a crystal, for sure.
Yeah.
People, wear crystals or hold crystals to have that energy, and you're one. How beautiful. So what do you do to shine your crystal or your prism?
Well, what I know is it's really important for me to take care of myself. I exercise every day. I eat well. I work really hard on doing patterns that I've had to then implement this more soft, graceful part of me. And I used to go out and just make sure I was just really tending to everybody. Like I would memorize what their stories were and ask them questions and this and that and that. And I just got exhausted because I am a mother too. And I know through mothering my children consciously, which is not pretty, it's a really interesting time with social media and everything, all these messages coming to them. And then my way that I want things to be. So that's taught me a lot about really studying everything around. And I feel like my work is to be more light and peaceful without saying everything's sunshine. It's like, I know things are going on, and yet but me, have the eagle vision, pull up above. What if we all came here to experience this? Do we want to act like this is horrible? Or do we want to look at it and go, oh my God, this is interesting. This is like a roller coaster. and then really truly everything outside of you is a reflection of inside of you. So the more peace I make inside of me, I have people messaging me quite often going, God, I wish you just feel good. I wish I could be like you. And so it's just to go out in the world and smile and make eye contact. And I don't think everything has to be outward and physical. I think when you feel it inside and you connect and you just start loving humanity and holding compassion, you see you can experience those ripples in the world.
Yeah.
It's really taking care of yourself and then seeing where you want to serve in that.
Absolutely.
If you want to serve in that.
Yes. And I wish that our listeners could see you right now, because the way the light is shining over your head, it looks like you are this glowing halo that's up above you. I just love that. So a couple more ideas I want to see if we can share is, there is something that women especially suffer with when it comes to opening to our gifts and our brilliance. Tell me how your work supports them in either opening and accepting that this is who I am and these are some gifts I have and I need to put them into play, or it's the getting into that space. I call it leadership presence. I know yours is a little bit different. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think a lot that I've been led to is I've studied a lot of psychology so you can understand how the thinking mind works. And then that led to essentially the body, the nervous system, how it holds and traps things in there that feel like your truth, and I was talking earlier how the mind tells the body something and then the body tells the mind something. And even if you clear your psychological viewpoint through therapy and whatnot, your body's saying something else. So the nervous system work is very new out in the world. So I believe I was led to that. And so, and a lot of teaching out there, or a lot of the buzzword is mind, body, spirit. And what does that really mean? Like, how do you embody and welcome that you were in this human body, your spirit came in this human body, and then you have this like amazing egoic brain, and the spirit, which a lot of people have denied that part of, that's who they are. I believe that's my work, is to listen to what's going on too. I'm always led to ask questions, and then I'm led to share a perspective that they never thought of. And most of the perspectives were compassion for these, everything about everything it's cyclical. It orbits. Everything goes in circles and cycles. So things that happen in your childhood circle and cycle, and then so it's like pointing out, like, this happened to you at this age, and look at it's recreated, and just that awareness is like, oh. And then there's the help with like, okay, how can you release that? Most of the releasing is in just talking and having someone. If you talk to all these people that you grew up with or that you've attracted out of your wounds, it re-wounds. But if you have someone who is just non-judgmental, loving, compassionate, deeply caring about you with no agenda that you have to get better,
right,
the energy starts falling away. You start feeling that really divine motherly love. And when you've got that kind of love, the things that you've got to hold on in your body and your system start falling away. And I give them tools on how to connect more with the spirit aspect. Like when you start relaxing that, you feel that, like in dance, you start, oh my God, these ideas come in, your creativity is on fire. You're associating with your world differently, and that can bring up a lot of trauma. It can bring up a lot of things, but it also frees it. And that's the conversation. Like humans need the words to help shift perspective. So if you just say, if you're feeling the stuff coming up and it's moving, just know that you've released it. You've got to feel it because you're human.
Right.
But if you feel it without reacting like you normally do, that piece is going to be gone.
Yeah.
And you're ready for the next layer.
Right. And there's more. There's always more. I know it's a never ending, what do we call it? The onion skin, onion peel. So one of the things that we've talked about dance and we've talked about your shamanic work that you've done, but can you talk a little bit about a soul retrieval session and what that involves, and how does that support someone in embracing, acknowledging, discovering their light?
Yeah, soul retrieval is amazing. In this world we live in right now, there's a tremendous amount of what we call soul loss. It's like trauma after trauma after trauma, and and then it's happening to everyone around you, and then it just becomes like this is just the way it is. So, in a soul retrieval, the shaman goes like in an altered space, which is just very meditative in this imagination. And it's amazing. You've got this imagination and you're questioning yourself, and then they have all these things happen that relate or happened before the session. So it's essentially like going in with helping spirits. They're helping spirits, you're helping spirits, and being led to just time periods or strengths they lost. So if you had something happen in your childhood that was traumatic, you shut a part of yourself off, mm-hmm. which is like, you can just picture this little piece of your soul that felt so free. It was like, I'm not going to be here for that one. Mm-hmm. And one example I give it's a small one, but it's powerful, is if you're a kid and you fall off your bike. And then hopefully your mom's there and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she gets the Band-Aids and cleans you up. And then you don't remember that anymore. But if you fall off the bike and your mom's like, oh my God, you are not careful, I told you, then you have a trauma in your body.
Right.
And a part of you didn't want to experience that. So it's an energetic thing. So essentially you can be led to just, let's say, that particular time. And it can be a conversation with that little part of you that says, okay, that happened, but you're not there anymore. Mm. You're an adult now, and it's taking all those parts, and some of them are just power. Like you could go to this crystal kingdom and gather this like massive amount of colors or crystals or whatever, and you bring them in, and they take all these parts. And like my job is to bring all the parts into myself, and it's imaginatory, but it's like it's really happening, and then you blow it into them. So it's a ceremony, and it can be done distance. It's like there's no, physical is not the everything. The distance actually can really help, because then you're not in the physical like attachments there. Mm-hmm. You blow it into them, and then they have what happens is they have an opportunity to integrate it. So everything you have in place to protect you from that trauma has to slowly move out. So if you became an alcoholic or you're overeating, you have to willingly decide, I want these parts to come back in. It's easier to quit those things, but you have to make that choice to integrate that. Yeah. So it's some of the most powerful work I've experienced. And I don't think most people can only get one based on the amount of trauma. If you were in a tribe, and this is a story that gets passed along during your training, if you're in a tribe and something happens that's traumatic to one person, the whole community is in on that soul retrieval, and that's all they need. Right. They only need that one moment there, and then they're fine. Whereas we are all neglected and not seeing each other. Right. And so it then it gets older and packed down and layered upon, and yes, and that's what makes it harder for us. And people don't like talking about it. There's that whole Brene Brown came out with the whole shame thing, and the important thing is, who do we have as a shame sister or our partner that we can call and go, okay, this just happened. Can you hear me? So that you can get rid of that, even if it's a little thing, but not store it. Our poor bodies are overwhelmed. And then we wonder why so many of us are overweight. Do you see a correlation with health and physical health with soul retrieval? Well, yeah, I do. I think the beauty of soul retrieval and energy work is that a lot of the healing and reconnecting happens without you having to do so much work. you get freed up of stuff that, therapy is fantastic. The different modalities that deal with your mind and directly with your body are wonderful. But if you let spirit help, you don't have to do as much. So you may not crave those foods anymore.
Right.
You may not want to, you might go from hiding and binging on Netflix to like, I feel like I want to take a walk outside. And some of it is you get that feeling and then you've got to do it. You have free will.
Yes. And that's the key, is that little inkling or that inspired action gets dropped in, and it's like, we get choice. But how do we want to treat ourselves? So I have a couple more questions for you before we close. And I wanted to find out if someone wanted to work with you, how would they connect with you?
Well, I am the only Teri Sertic on the planet, TeriSertic. So I have a beautiful website. They can contact me there, sign up for a newsletter. One is for dance and one is just for everything. I do soul retrievals, coaching, and then online dance. It's about to be dance membership so that it's women only. So women can keep connecting, hopefully all over the world, for this really sacred time. It's playful, but it's also deep. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and then I do have a private Facebook group that's women only, because I think women can really relax and open up more if it's just women in the group. And I love men, but it's
yeah. And I think we're still working on how to integrate that, and there is a lot around trust to be gained before we can completely collapse those dualities and the polarities. I have a question for you as regarding do you have a package? What if I wanted to do dance and soul retrieval?
Well, that would be, so I have coaching packages, and they can be integrated with soul retrieval and dancing.
Okay.
And I recommend at least a month to work together, because to have somebody hold you in that integration period, help you decipher, like, okay, after this explosion happened in my relationship, and then you have someone there to go, good, because you just cleared that, and now you get to make, and then help, like, if you make these choices right here, then that will have an opportunity to clear and just clarify, like, here's what's going on. Because you can have a healing and not know what the heck happened afterwards. So it's kind of having a divine interpreter and somebody rooting for you. And to me, everything is like, everything I read, everything I see and hear is every time you shift your perspective a little, a light shines brighter.
Absolutely. I think it's like the veils over us that we are trying to, like, take them off and all those different layers. Let's see. And I think
that's why we need each other. I think
that's the collective piece that I think is so important. And that's what I have so enjoyed being in this collective with you, is we each have and bring such different flavors or textures or light colors. And then we all, by being in the collective, there's something about that magnification and synergy that happens. It's so beautiful. And I have so enjoyed talking with you this morning. Thank you. And we will have you on again to do some kind of special fun thing down the road, but we're just doing the introductions right now so everybody can get to know our faculty. Or the creation team, who I think the light is the faculty for sure, right? So,
yes.
Yeah. So take good care, and we will talk to you next time. And thanks, listeners. We'll tune in next time with our next interview.